Okay, today's little mini adventure is planting peas, which also included putting up sort of a makeshift trellis. So you can see this wire fencing. I just sort of wrapped it around these posts here. I also used this tool here to sort of go around the base and just pull the dirt out a little bit and get that trellis right below the dirt line. So now the dirt is holding in the bottom, and you can see it spanning just between two poles here, and I sort of wrapped it around itself. I also put just sort of one little nail here in it to hold it in. So I'm hoping that that's going to work. I picked up these pieces of fence at an estate sale last year with this idea of using them for trellising and never actually got to it. So this year is the first time I'm trying this out. And what I'm planting here is peas. And you can see I used the same exact tool to just sort of make like a trough right down the side here, right down in this little gap. And I put a bunch of peas in there. The other thing I'm putting in is sunflower seeds. Um, because of kind of this concept of like the sunflowers might also act as trellises for the peas to grow up. And I'm literally just, like I said, I kind of took this tool and I just made a little trough, and I'm just putting in some sunflower seeds, already put in the peas, and then beyond the trellis here, I'm actually going to continue with the sunflower seeds. And so I'm just sort of dropping them in as I go. The sunflower seeds are actually from our own sunflowers we harvested. And the peas are fairly old. They're from 2019. They're Fedco, which have been great seeds. They're local here to Maine. And so that's why I put in so many, is I have no idea about the actual viability this year. All right. So now that I've put some seeds in and I'm kind of happy with that, I can just go around with my foot and basically cover them over. And so this is my low maintenance way of planting seeds like this. The other option would actually be to take my tool again and kind of do the same thing, just covering them over. And they don't need to be really deep, and it doesn't need to be exact. I did go through and weed this, but as you can see, I didn't even do a great job of that, which I might be sorry about later on in the season. But you know, this 40-plus-year-old back is only able to do just so much. So this is my no bending, no raised bed way of gardening. A long handled tool, and I just sort of do this. I make a trough, I drop the seeds in, and then I just go back over it like this. And it is super windy again here today, but hopefully this microphone is helping a little bit. And let's see, these, I really love having sunflowers across the back here in the garden. It really ends up being quite nice. So I am hoping that these will all come up. And I can even just sort of do this to get them down in. And I will also go through and water. I will give these a little bit of water today. Again, I kind of talked before about the fact that I actually prefer to garden in the rain so that I don't have to worry about that. However, today was just too nice of a day not to get out here and do this. So I am going to go through and water as well. And so I've got my watering can, and we're just gonna kind of go down through now that I've planted, just moisten things a little bit. And I might go through a second time and do this as well, and I go back over. And for the next couple of days, if it doesn't rain, I will probably do this again just to kind of give them a head start. But I know we're getting rain toward the end of the week, so that should be helpful. All right, there you have it. There is my pea trellis, and it's just sort of in the gap there behind where we put the black fabric, the weed barrier fabric. There's always this little gap there just because the wall basically isn't straight. And so that's a lot of times where I do plant the peas. It's kind of a nice backstop there, and even helps with some of the wind if they get up nice and tall, and same with the sunflowers. And having the sunflowers on the backside here too helps attract the birds. which eats a lot of the bugs and those types of things. Also, sunflowers are really good for the soil. They pull out toxins and impurities and things like that. So we do love sunflowers. We plant them all over the place, all the big open spots, and then I save the seeds and replant them. And we're pretty confident in our soil, although I do want to get it tested here soon. But nothing was planted in this space for over at least 10 years, if not more like 20 before we got here. And I did not use any pesticides or anything like that. So pretty confident in our soil. So we could certainly eat the sunflower seeds, just like we eat all our vegetables. But a lot of times I just kind of save them to replant because I just really love having them toward the end of the summer. All right. And, having this black fabric, this weed barrier fabric, also makes a really just a nice staging area. I can now put all my stuff down. Nothing gets dirty. It's great. So once again, I have a whole video about how we laid this down that I actually put out just yesterday. And let's see, today, what is the date today? I'm so bad at that. I think it's the 24th, might be the 25th of April. So I'm actually planting peas a little bit earlier than I typically do. I usually wait until at least the beginning of May, or if it's a really cold spring, I might even wait till middle of May to do the peas and the sunflowers. But I actually saw on a local Facebook group, that everybody was already planting their peas just because it's been such a dry, kind of warmer spring. And so I was like, all right, I'll jump on board and see what we can do. Because by middle of the summer, it's way too hot for peas. We do get up into the hundreds and it gets, just way too hot. They end up burning. So the earlier you can plant them, the better for sure. And then you might even get a second crop of peas if you plant them sort of toward the end of the summer and let them go into the fall. All right, so that's what we've got going on here today. Putting up a trellis, planting some peas. Thanks.